Here on The Colour of Country Life, I'm chatting with Luke Doecke from Angaston Cricket Club. We're going to have a look at Barossa Light and Gawler Association results in the final round. How are you, Luke?
Yeah, good, thanks, Ricky.
Now, just a bit of a matter of disclosure here. Luke's building my shed with Saxony Building at the moment, which I very much appreciate. And we're from the same cricket club, so we'll put that all out there and be as balanced as we can with our commentary.
No, absolutely. There will be plenty of talk about Angaston, put it that way.
Now, Luke, first of all, let's look at the under-18s. They got a real eye-opener over at Adelaide Oval last weekend. How did the boys go there?
Yeah, so like you say, our under-18s, we put a team in for the SACA 150 Cup under-18 2020 competition. And, yeah, the boys, massive experience to go down to Adelaide Oval, and we're probably a little bit overawed with the I suppose just playing on that ground, but yeah, they got beaten by Scott Creek on Ironbank. But yeah, we had a one lad, Riley Leggett, he made 41, looked really good, and then yeah, a couple other, Hartley Eglinton made 11, Tyrell Burgess with 15, and young Will Cameron was not out with 11 as well. So
and he's pretty young for you playing under 18s. Will Cameron, we know he got 180 odd earlier in the season.
Yeah, no, definitely. He's definitely an up and coming cricketer. He's playing down at the Jets. He's a 14-year-old, but he's in the under 16 competition down there already, and definitely one to look out for. That's for sure.
All right. Well, yeah, great experience for the juniors, but let's talk about senior cricket. The A1s finished their final round of matches, and you've got the honour of opening the batting for the Angaston side. Why don't we start with Angaston's result for the final round?
Yeah. So no, for some reason, they always put the old blokes up the top. So
cannon fodder.
yeah. But no, we had a really good win over Gilbert Valley. They had a pretty tough season up there in the A grade. But yeah, we ended up with 266 in the first innings. Greg Bain continues to score plenty of runs. He finished with 111. Dylan Schmidt had a half century there with 53, and myself scratched around for a little while and made 40. So
very handy. All right, well that's not a bad tune-up for the finals. But how did we look at Tanunda and Lindok? Significant result there for Tanunda. Some big runs.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I think early on there's a good partnership up the top with Trent Gers and Sam Colloon, and but then. Bo Wall and I think it's young Bailey Smith, those two put on an awesome partnership to make 330, and then they rolled Lindok for 58, on Saturday just been, and so they're definitely hitting their straps coming into the finals.
Yeah, let's quickly jump to the finals ladder. We'll look at the other results in a moment, but who are we looking at in terms of who's in the top finals positions?
Yeah, so ourselves at Angaston there, we had a good year. We just got knocked off a couple of weeks ago against Malala when they had a good bowling attack in. But that was the one game we'd lost for the year, so we finished top. Tanunda came in second. There's one result that hasn't quite updated, but I think, and correct me if I'm wrong out there, listeners, but Sandy Creek, I think, beat Malala, and then Greenock had a massive result in the last game, which, with an outright win over South Gawler, which meant they went into fourth position. So, so 1v4, I think we'll be playing Greenock at Angaston, and Tanunda will be up against Sandy Creek.
So let's look at that Greenock result a bit closer. So like you say, it's an innings and 8 runs win. It's a big win for Greenock. Yeah,
no, absolutely. I think, they've got a good young side too. One team that definitely pushed us early in the season, and in the first dig, Benny Rowenfeld made 50 odd, Hudson Noack 62, and even Reece Jenke there with another not out of 50. South Gawler, definitely really struggled, being bowled out for 138 in the first dig, and then I think Greenock were definitely trying to push to definitely get in that final spot, and absolutely rolled South Gawler in the second dig. But at one stage they were 3 for 2, and then it was 7 for 17, and ended up being bowled out for 64. So some pretty crazy results there.
Yeah. Well, another one that looks like it was a fair bit of excitement in this match. Newry and Light Pass. Doesn't look like that shapes the finals too much, but they had a bit of a close one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was probably 3 or 4 sides pushing to get into that top fourth or into the top 4, and Newry were definitely one of those teams, and they sort of made 142 in their first innings, and they were sort of struggling early in their innings. I think they were 8 for 66, so to make 142 was a great effort. But again, Light Pass just sort of hung on there, chasing those runs down in the final sort of overs there, and ended up getting over the line with 1 wicket to go. So
a bit of late hitting by the looks of it. We got Wilson with 41 from 44 balls for Newry, and then Light Pass had a bit of a tail end wag from the ninth batsman as well.
That's right. Yeah, it's funny like that. For some reason, the bowlers down the bottom sometimes hold the innings together, but hopefully that doesn't happen this weekend.
Yeah, so what are we looking at in terms of our first final for the weekend coming up, if we can trust the latter, or what we're seeing on My Cricket?
Yeah, I think, like you say, if we are definitely coming up against Greenock, they are a good young team. They've got a good, I think their captain, Benny Teal, is a good bowler up front, and he bats really well through the middle order. And even Benny Rowanfelt, with his spin, is also someone to definitely watch as well. So, we'll have to be at our best to be able to beat that side. But, they've really worked hard, Greenock, I think, over the last couple of years. They were in the A1 reserves for a little while, but they've really pushed hard, and now to play their first, A-grade final series for a little while has definitely been a big tick for that club.
Now, you've got probably a bit of a conflict of interest here asking this question, but is it Angaston's fortunes rest heavily on whether Greg Bain scores lots of runs or not?
Well, I suppose probably if you look at the stats this year, I think, Greg has definitely been the standout. And I think it's definitely up to the rest of us batters as well to take a bit of that pressure off him. But, finals are a completely different game. Anything can happen, and, sometimes, there's winning scores of 120 or 110 in finals. So we just got to go out there and be at our best, and like I say, Greenock are going to be right at us.
And where's that game going to happen?
So we'll get a home final, so that'll be up at Angaston. So hopefully Stratty will prepare a good pitch for us.
Yeah, clear all the horse poo off from the weekend's excitement.
Oh, the outfield's not too rough, but it'll be a good ground up there at Angaston. It's a great place to watch cricket.
Yeah, it sure is. And so the other final we're looking at, who have we got playing in that one? What's your tip on that game?
Yeah, so Tanunda and Sandy Creek are in that one. I think, like I say, Tanunda have been around the mark for a few years now, and I think even Sandy, they beat Newry last year in the final. They'll be pushing hard to go back to back. Tanunda, I think the last few weeks they've really hit their straps with their batting. And that one's a really 50-50 game, I reckon. Like I say, any final is really, but I think that'll be another good game to watch.
Is it interesting the way the wicket plays there at Tanunda? That's a home game for Tanunda, I gather.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they will have a home game. And, like I say, I haven't actually played myself at Tanunda for a few years, but, they've done a lot of work on the ground, and, they've got the lights there now. So, that ground will be definitely looking, ready for finals cricket. So.
And just more broadly, how's the league gone this year? I know you've got an administrative role with Angaston. I mean, you had a stop-start couple of seasons, as everyone has in country sport. You got the girls' game got up and running this year as well. It's been a good season for clubs across the board in the Barossa Light and Gawler League.
Yeah, definitely. I think, they changed the competition a little bit this year to have three, like A1s, 2s and 3s. It was all two-day cricket. And there was 10 teams in those groups. And that's probably been a big change instead of having an 8-team competition. So I think it's been taken on pretty well by most clubs. I think we're going to run that for a few years now to see how that progresses. But I know, from a junior perspective, there's definitely the girls' cricket. So we've had four girls' teams play in the association this year. I think Angaston, Light Pass, and there's been a Barossa combined side, and even Long Plains has put in a girls-only team as well. So that's been great to see girls' cricket start to take off in the area.
So, I guess a bit like the AFLW at the local level, it's had a sort of earlier run in the season and a shorter run, but chances are if the interest keeps picking up, you might see more longer-form girls' games in the future.
Yeah, definitely. I think, they ran a 6-week competition prior to Christmas, and the response was really great from those teams, so they decided to run another 4 weeks now after Christmas as well. So I think that's only just going to get, bigger and better, because I know even from an Angaston point of view, we've definitely got a lot of girls playing cricket, and you look around the association as well, like there's a lot of girls keen to get out there and get involved.
Well, maybe Darcy Brown from Kapunda, a bit of a pin-up girl for girls to have a crack at it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I like to say, with her being, named in the test team now and playing a lot of one-day cricket now for Australia is definitely great for the area. And I think across the state, I think girls cricket is definitely, moving forward in the right direction.
All right, Luke. Well, for the final on the weekend, we'll keep it as impartial as possible, and I'll say I hope you don't get out for a duck.
You know what'll happen now.
Put the mockers on it, Luke. Thanks very much for joining us on Flow.
No worries. Thanks, Ricky.